Hey heroes, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Season's greetings, Merry Christmas, and Happy Early New Year. Today we're just going to look over what I did on Steam in 2023. There is apparently a way through the GOG launcher to put all your different launcher playtimes together. So like Epic Game Store, GOG, and any other launchers that you use. But I'm just doing Steam today. Let's take a look at what happened this year. Looks like this year I played 49 games and 30 of them being new. And a big part of that was a lot of developers were able to give me games so I can show to you guys. So I'm really happy for that. 516 achievements unlocked. I normally don't go for it, but this year you'll see that there was one game in particular that was really going for achievements. It's mostly because I put so much time into it that I really wanted to come out with something, show something for it. So 65 days was my longest streak with 10 different games played apparently. So in July through September was a really busy time. My top three games looks like was Starfield, Project Zomboid, and Age of Wonders. Starfield being 21% of my playtime with 143 sessions. A session, if you're not familiar, that is how many individual times you log into the game. So it's not actual days. So I didn't log in for 143 days, but during a certain time, which we'll see shortly, I did play Starfield every day for a very long time. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to put out a video about the quality of life updates that it desperately needs, because I don't know really one person that plays it and actually really enjoys it. I played it. I did enjoy it, but it definitely does need a lot of updates, a lot of quality of life updates to make it better, to make it last as long as say Skyrim did. Project Zomboid, every Saturday for a few months I'd play with my Discord friends, and we had a server going, and it was a lot of fun. We started off, our biggest night was our first night, where we had I felt like 10 to 12 people playing, some newbies, and we tried to get out of a research building and try to make it to a safe zone. It was very hard because we didn't have any guns. There was very little ammo, but it was a lot of fun, and we eventually got to what was it, Lake Town Ivy or Lake Township Ivy or whatever. Well, my favorite town in the game is a modded city, and we were able to make a really nice base, really make it real self-sufficient, and we would make treks out to different cities. So that was a lot of fun, and that occupied 13% of my playtime. I say once again, Project Zomboid is one of the best zombie survival games, especially multiplayer. A very high difficulty curve, but one of the best zombie games out there. Very few games can beat it. Finally, we have Age of Wonders 4 with the second highest session played, and that would be me actually just logging in quickly to see what are the different builds that I can make for Age of Wonders 4. Fantastic game. I'm so happy with it because it's one of the few turn-based strategy games that I'm half decent at. I love turn-based strategy games thanks to like Heroes of Might and Magic, but I'm usually not good at the more modern games. Age of Wonders 3, I was horrible at it, and the learning curve was too much. Age of Wonders 4, they did things that made sense, and it was very fun. So 12% of my playtime, I'd say half that playtime is just making builds. So take a look at my at my channel, at my playlist, and I have tons of build videos if you want different ideas of fun and strong builds. So let's see, how do I compare with the rest of the Steam community? Okay, so 516 achievements with the Steam median of 16, 49 games played, Steam median of 4, and longest streak was 65 days, Steam median of 5. So what does this tell me? This tells me that people play very few games. Most people play very few games for very few days, and obviously if they play that one game over and over and over, they're not getting many achievements. So that's the information I get from there. 62% of my playtime were new releases. That kind of makes sense. I played a lot of new games. I don't really go back. If anything, I go back to games like Project Zomboid, and you're going to see the fourth game that I played the most was very surprising. Surprised me. Let's see. So let's take a look at this chart right here. A lot of my games, I guess Starfield contributed to this space. Party-based RPG, that would be the Baldur's Gate. And dark comedy, not too sure where this came from. And I love how Warhammer 40k was a category on its own. But open world survival craft, that I agree with that. And co-op campaign, definitely agree with that. Let's look down a little bit further. So Starfield, let's take a little closer look. 28-day streak, and I started at launch. This was the one game only that I ever got 100% achievements in. Once again, because I put so many hours into it, I don't know why it doesn't tell you how many hours you put into the game, but we're talking about 300-ish hours into the game, and part of it was I was trying to get all the achievements. Some of them required grinding, and I would have got it earlier. One of the achievements was getting to level 100. Is it this thing? Yeah, reach level 100. 4.8% of players have unlocked it at the time of this video. So I made 6 different characters with this game. I play the game, have a lot of fun, and then I'm like, this build looks really interesting, but there's no respecking system in Starfield. So I'd create another character, have fun with that build, and then I just kept thinking of different builds, different ways to play, and that's why that specific achievement, reach level 100, took so long. Because if I just stuck with one character through the entire game, the entire time, then I would have reached this much earlier. But that was not the case, and that took actually very long. This, I think, was the last. This one and the one about having a partner or follower at maximum happiness with you, a relationship. That was the one that I had that took actually a very long time. This one right here, Star-Crossed. Maximum relationship level with a companion. 15% of players did it. This was actually hard because I like to play usually like a thief or a pirate, and most of the members of Constellation, they hate that. They all hate that. They're always like, I dislike that. I dislike that. I hated that. So it was actually really hard to do this. I actually had to just pretend to be good, do some good stuff, and make nice with Sarah Morgan. So that was Starfield. The next game is Project Zomboid. Once again, I tend to play it always a lot in January for some reason, and then it drops off, and then I get that urge to play again. And as you can see, it wasn't a lot of playtime, but it is constant in the following months: July, August, September, October, November. Like I said, that was the every Saturday night I'd play with my Discord friends, and we all had a lot of fun. So we'd play for 4 or 5 hours. You know, it was really good. Okay, so and just a funny screenshot right here. This screenshot here is of me. My character here survived for 1 month, 6 days, and 6 hours, killing 8,000 zombies. I made a mistake. I was getting really cocky. My guy was super strong, great stats, and I went into this house, closed the door behind me, and I'm like, oh, zombies, no problems. I have this really powerful Bardish, and I was just whacking him, and suddenly I started missing. Suddenly I started panicking, and I just got overwhelmed, and my guy died just randomly. So one thing you always got to learn from Project Zomboid is always be on alert. Never take anything for granted. You know, don't play loose. You play loose, you're gonna die in this game. So goodbye. I kind of lost interest in that specific character in that specific server when that happened. So I think that was back in January. Okay, so Age of Wonders 4. I was trying to get some achievements, but I haven't unlocked all of them yet. And I believe it came out in May, and that's where all the playtime came, and then kind of dropped off. But like I said, a lot of my gameplay for Age of Wonders is from theory crafting. So once again, if you don't like thinking up different builds, but you need a strong build, you can go to my playlist and check out the different builds I have for the game, and a lot of them actually still work. There was a change where it's a point system rather than specific one trait per category, and because of that, you just have to add one more thing. Okay, so now on to the surprise of 2023. The game that surprised me, that was my fourth most played game, was actually Fallout 76. In April, I don't know what it was in April. Maybe I was in the mood for Fallout 76. Maybe there was some sort of event. I think it was an event, but there was an event, and Fallout 76, let me just say, I really had a lot of fun when the game released. And the only disappointing part was that I didn't have people to play with at the time. And Fallout 76 is definitely a multiplayer game, a co-op game that you want to play with your friends. If you have that, then this game will be one of the best Fallout games there is out there, honestly, especially with the seasonal challenges. It does it like a board game where when you get unlocks, you unlock something on that board and you go forward and forward. So as you can see, I played in April. 93% of my total playtime was Fallout 76. So I played it like crazy for basically a month. I found a really strong build, a chainsaw build, I think, and heavy weapons. And man, I like the heavy weapons was good, but if I just needed to kill something quick, I just turn on the chainsaw and that was it. And I think I put out a video on that build as well. So and one of the biggest things that a lot of people complained about was there was no NPCs. They added NPCs a few months ago, or I don't know how long ago, and they did it right. They did it well, and it makes sense, and the world feels more alive. So it was probably a mistake. I know what they were trying to go for, but they did it right, and the world is better for the NPCs. So definitely, I would recommend Fallout 76 if you have that itch, but more so if you have friends to play with. Fallout 76 is great in the current state. Number 5 is Baldur's Gate. I played this game actually initially when the game first came in early access. It was fun. I played it single player only, and I played it maybe a little bit too much. So I kind of had a good idea of how the first act basically played. But when it first launched, I actually did a full co-op run with my younger brother. He has a YouTube channel called The Casuals, which you should check out. And we did for a good week and a half. We played Baldur's Gate every single day for a couple hours, and we did an evil run, and that was the most fun I've ever had. In terms of Baldur's Gate, I've played all the previous Baldur's Gate, but I never truly enjoyed it. I wasn't really good at it, and I don't think I ever beat any of the previous Baldur Gates. I don't think I'd ever go back, because Baldur's Gate 3, as you've seen, has won all of the Game of the Year awards, and is rightly so. Baldur's Gate, very good. Congrats to the devs for making such a good game. So many different ways to play. Funny dialogues, great story, and thank God I can actually be evil in this game. My brother was a sorcerer, throwing fireballs, obviously. And me, I was an assassin, I played the Dark Urge backstory, and that was a great backstory. So if you want to be evil, play the Dark Urge. It fits in perfectly. There's no trying to be evil. You just are. So great game. You've heard it all. So just one more person, hopefully that you trust, to say, hey, if you don't have Baldur's Gate 3, definitely recommend. It's actually one of the better games to play, RPG games to play with other players, if those players know how to play and are good teammates. If people don't know how to play, or if people are running off doing their own things, if the non-speaking people, the low charismatic people, do the talking, and the poor fighters do the fighting, it just doesn't work. If people don't stick together, then when you go into battle, it's like 1-on-4 or 1-on-1 against many enemies, so you need to stick together. But me and my brother, we obviously are good teammates. We communicate, we stick together. We leave the talker, which was my brother, to talk, and I would do like the backstabbing, so Baldur's Gate, I don't think we got all the achievements. I was trying to hunt for some of them, but once you do a full playthrough, we almost did everything. I think near Act 3, we got a little bit fatigued, and we're just kind of pushing more of the storyline. Okay, so let's take a look. And here's just a picture of, I think this was early access. My brother and I were just testing things out to see which classes we wanted to play. I think this was my brother here, and this is me. This is a Githyanki barbarian, and we were just laughing at how skinny the Githyanki are in this game. And I thought I saw in the customization, the character customization, that there should have been a way to make a bulky character model, but at least in early access there wasn't. So my Githyanki looks so weird. Barbarians need to be a little bit bigger. So my playtime, the biggest one here was in April and September, basically. Less in June, July, and a little bit in August. But you know what? That is when Diablo 4 was in beta. So I was playing a lot of Diablo 4. And then when it released, I played it so much. So that's why there's lower time here. That's why it's a little bit lower. So I think especially in June, that's probably was Diablo. But to talk about Diablo a little bit. In Diablo 3, I didn't get to play too much of it because that was based off your internet connection. And at the time, I was living at home and we had really bad internet, and it was always really slow. So I never really got to play too much. So I played a ton of Diablo 4, had a lot of fun, but I played too much in beta. So I don't know if you guys make that same mistake, but I tend to be making this mistake these days. When a game's in beta or early access, I'll play it like crazy. But then when the game actually releases, I've played too much. I'm all burnt out, and I don't want to play it anymore. So that's what happened to Diablo. I got into the betas, played it like crazy, had a ton of fun, and then it released, had a ton of fun, played with my friends, played every day, hours and hours and hours. But then I played a little bit too much, and then it's I think now in season 2, and I have zero interest in playing any more Diablo. So they did a good game, but maybe they needed to think about end game players, or the players that play a lot, like myself. How do you cater to it? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe something that Fallout 76 does. Fallout 76 has a season system where if you play a lot, you're going to unlock a lot, and unlock a lot of special things. And I don't think, I guess Diablo has the exact same thing. It doesn't feel the same as Fallout did. So I really felt like, I'm really going to aim for this thing. So I don't know. So that's playtime, longest streak. Anything else we should be talking about here? So all the different games that we played this year. So obviously Starfield, Project Zomboid. So here's the top games. And then we have Barrow Trauma. Just like Project Zomboid, we had Saturday nights. Before Project Zomboid was Barrow Trauma night. So my Discord friends and I, usually led by Jade or Heathen. In the latter part, it was Heathen. And we played Barrow Trauma every night, or every Saturday night. And that was so fun because it's a cooperative submarine, kind of horror-ish type of game. And at first I didn't understand the game, but near the end I understood my role. I understood what to do, and it was so fun. Barrow Trauma, one of those games you definitely need to have a group of players, minimum four. If even 4 is, you need to have a small sub then. But if you can have like 10 players, and we used to have 10 people on a sub, and that was fantastic. One of the best cooperative games out there. 2 Point Campus, my favorite cozy game. Another real-time strategy game. What's it called? Kind of like a colony simulator in a sense. And usually I like the idea of these games, but I'm not good at these games. But 2 Point Campus, they made a game where I can be good at this game. It's really fun. You could slow down time to take a look, watch the different students or all the funny little things happening. Great game that deserves more praise and more views. We played Sons of the Forest when it came out. Normally, I'm not into these horror-ish type of scary games, but I only played it with my friends. First time I got to play a game a lot with my younger cousin and my friend Mike, and even my friend JB. We played, the four of us. And this is one of those games you need to have other people, because having other people makes it easier, because you build faster, you gather resources faster, everything's just faster. The enemies in the game, it was always scary when you're busy building and you look up and you see across the river, where, because you've built on an island, across the river are tons of enemies just staring at you. They're staring at you. Or if you're not paying attention, you look up and you see them destroying your outposts across the river. So that was really cool. Tribes of Midgard was a fun game. Once again, better with friends. What I found was people were more interested in logging in, doing the most basic goal, and then jumping out. So that was a little bit not fun. Wilder Myth, obviously, you know my series of Wilder Myth. I did at least, I think, 2 seasons this year and we recorded with both Morris and Jade. Thank you so much, the two of you. And we made some great content there. And even Minori joined us in our last season. So he had some really great lines. He did a great job. And I hope maybe we can do a new run this in 2024. Solasta. If you never played Baldur's Gate, play Solasta first. And then if you've already played Baldur's Gate, I don't really think you would enjoy Solasta. Baldur's Gate is far and above better. But there are some things that Solasta does that is better than Baldur's Gate. And I'll leave that for you to mainly find out for yourself. It is the way that they describe things, how they will basically show you, if you're a barbarian, what you can expect every single level, and it's very clear. Or if you take a certain skill, how that plays out for the future. So Baldur's Gate hides a lot of it. And that's the one thing I like about Solasta. But the multiplayer in Solasta is not good. It's a very slow way of multiplayer, whereas Baldur's Gate is much quicker, and I really like that. Endless Dungeon came out. Great game in terms of graphics and gameplay and ideas, but I don't like the wave mechanic, and it did not do as well as I hoped, and no one else got the game. So once again, and another one of those games that you can play by yourself and it works, but it is probably far better if you play with other people. So I'm hoping maybe in 2024 I can get some content playing with some friends. For the King 2, I got a key from the devs. Great game, big improvement from number 1. Played it with some friends. I should have some content on my channel for it. And looking forward to seeing what more happens with For the King. Darktide, one of the biggest disappointments in the game, even with the bigger updates. Yes, it's better, but maybe it's too late for Darktide. A little disappointing with that. Great multiplayer game. Soulstone Survivors, one of my first and original favorite Survivors games, but only if you like that type of graphics. Deep Rock Galactic, Rock and Stone, great game. War Tales, this is what you probably see me playing a lot these days. I'm making tons of guides for it, and it came out a year or two ago. It was fun. The idea was there, but it was too hard. The difficulty level was too hard. Maybe I didn't understand it at that time. But since the early access launch a few years ago, it came 1.0. It went 1.0 a few months ago, and then just a few weeks ago was the first DLC, and it is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic what they did. I think basically they did some balancing. They added different difficulty levels so I can learn at an easier difficulty, and now I'm actually confident enough that I can actually raise the difficulty level. That normally doesn't happen in too many games, unfortunately for me, and I'm really having a lot of fun with War Tales. Really recommend it if you like open world RPG with turn-based combat. Very fun. GTFO, they had a free weekend of GTFO. You've seen one video of it because it was hard to get videos of it, in that it's a very, like my best friend says, it's very dark or it's very foggy, so it's very hard to see anything. So, but when you're in this game, GTFO was very fun. Let's see some other games we want to talk about here. Dave the Diver was fun. Lethal Company, my friend Work gave me this game. Thank you, Work. We played only once altogether. It was fun, and maybe after they make some more updates, we'll be coming back to Lethal Company and we'll make some more videos of it. A lot of these games here are games where I got keys for. I'm always very disappointed with Surrounded right here. It should be like Project Zomboid mixed with State of Decay with in between graphics, and it just is not good. It just doesn't feel good. But every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, this looks so fun. And I think I tried it twice, and both times I just refunded it because it just isn't good. Let's keep going. Master of Magic, unfortunately, was one of those games of 2023 that's super disappointing. The original game, the developer's original game, which is what makes it this disappointing, was that they made Thea 2. And you remember, I had a few videos of it. I really enjoyed Thea 2. Once again, like a Heroes of Might and Magic-esque type of game. It had combat that I didn't like. The combat system I didn't understand. It's like a card-based Yu-Gi-Oh system, maybe, or Magic. If it was Magic the Gathering, I'd understand it, but I think it was some other system that I didn't understand. So I always did auto combat, and at a certain point, the auto combat did not work in your favor, so you would actually lose a lot of units. And then they made Master of Magic, and I really hoped that it was going to turn out well, but it did not turn out well either. Let's see, any other games here? I tried Dredge, and I liked the idea of it, the look of it, but I couldn't get into the game. I think it was the controls. A big part of gaming for me is controls. If it doesn't have good controls, it's not good. Because one of the games I came back to actually very recently for the holidays was Grand Theft Auto 5. You all remember Grand Theft Auto 5? Fantastic game. You played hundreds of hours in it, and I did too. Primarily single player. I did a bit of multiplayer, and I'm coming back to it, and it just feels like you're stuck in mud. The controls don't feel good, mouse and keyboard. And I thought when I initially played on PC that it was better mouse and keyboard than controls. But now when I go back to it and I'm playing, I'm like, ugh, like if I enjoyed it for PC, how bad is the controls for controller, So that's that. So I think that's actually it for the Steam review. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching and supporting me in all my other videos. I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm putting out. As you see, it's all about gameplay, usually sticking between the 30 and 1 hour mark, as well as the guides, trying to make it as short and sweet to the point as possible. Because you know what? If you watch the video and you're looking for something, you want the answer right away. I want the answer right away. I don't want the whole backstory to why I'm playing this game or whatever. So thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me in 2023. I hope you had a great holidays and a great New Year's Eve and New Year's. And let's see what's all good and happening in 2024. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Take care.